Okay. Between the magnetic circuit and the electric circuit, right? I think you can see here lah. So in magnetic circuit we have magnetic flux. This is symbol for magnetic flux, phi. You got current I, flux density for the magnetic circuit equal to B symbol, and then for the current we call it J. MMF for the magnetic circuit we call it F, which is product between Ni. And the electric circuit we have E, EMF lah, and permeability mu, and in electrical circuit we got epsilon, permittivity, and we got reluctance R, and also resistance symbol for. I think that's okay lah. You can compare these two lah. It's almost similar. Okay, now we move to the next slide lah. Just go briefly on the what's next slide regarding the this is also revision. It's a flood leakage. What is flood leakage? So flood leakage basically when we wound the wire, not all flood is useful lah. Not all flood is useful. Some of that will go this way. They will follow this line, outer line there. Because of the wrapping problem and so on. If we not wrap properly, then some of the flood will come out like this. So this one we call it leakage flux. The most important is a useful flood lah. The flood we use to drive our application and so on. So that is to call it leakage flux. I think you can have this one. And the other important thing, next one is called fringing effect. So what is fringing effect? Fringing effect is something that when we have source there and I have source for the flood, so the flood will flow to the core there, and sometimes the core or the system has like air gap like this one, air gap. So at the air gap sides, some of the flux line will bulging like that. So what happened to this area? The area of the flux line will be bigger lah compared to the core one. So what happened when the area is bigger? So the flux density will be smaller. So in the air gap we have smaller flux density due to the fringing effect. Okay. So typically the system they try to minimize the air gap as possible lah. When we make air gap as possible between rotor and stator, for example, in the machine, right? We got stator and rotor. Normally the air gap between them very, very small because they want to reduce the flood density. They want to monitor or control the flood density so that the flood density is high, right? So what is also we need to know that why we need to put a gap there, because some system they call it a gap. So because most of the reason is due to the we want to avoid flood saturation. Without a gap, when you apply low current, the flood already saturated in the system, in the magnetic circuit, right? In order to protect that, so that means we need to inject or put this air gap somewhere there lah. So the air gap will make it the system higher. We can apply higher current. The system still not saturated yet because of the air gap there. Without a gap, small current already make it saturated. Saturated mean I think I show you already last time. When we have the BH curve, right? So when the system saturated, when we apply current, the flood density keep constant. You cannot increase anymore, right? And also the impact of the air gap here, it will increase the reluctance of the system lah. So we need to see later on the importance of the air gap there. Okay, now we move to the example lah. This a basic example of the magnetic circuit. Okay, I think we just to review only. Some of you already familiar with this one. For example, we have this magnetic circuit here. We have a coil there, and we got a ring or toroid here. So they give us the L. L is stand for the magnetic path length. The length of magnetic path. L in meter lah unit dia. In meter. So whatever different unit, you must change to meter. This is standard unit for the length. Right? N is 400 terms, and the cross section area for the flux line equal to this one A, 2 times 10 to the power minus 3 meters squared. So all unit must be in meter lah. It's very important. Okay, and they ask us find the current there. How much the current required to develop flux of 4, this one, 4 multiplied by 10 to the power, 10 to the power minus 4. So how much we require current here so that we can establish this amount of flux here. And they give us the permeability mu of this material. This mu equal to this one, this unit. And after that, last one, they ask us to find flux density, B. Yeah. So I think this is very straightforward information where you can solve it directly lah. So we knew that B flux density here equal to flux divided by A. Okay, then we know the flux given there in Weber divided by cross section area. This one, and you got the 0.2 Tesla. Okay, we know that the flux density in this system is 0.2 Tesla only. And then we can find H. H stands for the magnetic strength or magnetic intensity. So H equal to B over mu lah. This is a standard formula for the magnetic circuit. So B we know 0.2. Mu is given there. Permeability of material 1.818 10 to the minus 3. Power minus 3 10 to the minus 3. Then you got this one 1110 ampere turn. Okay, ini ampere turn per meter. Okay, so we know B, we know H. Then we can find the I now. Okay, we know that the MMF here equal to Ni. Ni is source of flux, or MMF equal to Ni equal to HL. This is a formula for the magnetic circuit here lah. Ni equal to HL. H stands for intensity, L stands for the length of the magnetic path there. Alright, so based on this equation, we can find the I easily lah. So I the current required equal to HL divided by N. H we calculated already just now, 1110. L is given 0.16, then N number of turn 400. Then you can find that the requirement for the current is equal to 44 milliampere in order to set up flux equal to just now for 0.4 Weber, 0.4 milliweber. Then we need to inject current of 44 milliampere. Okay, so these are very simple calculation. Okay, or alternatively, you can use different way to solve the problem by using by find the resistance of the core. Because we are given this mu, if we given the mu there, then we can find resistance easily lah, or reluctant easily. Reluctant equal to R equal to L over mu naught A. Okay, this formula for reluctant lah, reluctant of the core. Okay, so in this magnetic circuit we only have one medium only, which is core. So R core here, or reluctant of the core equal to L over mu naught A, or L over mu A. Okay, mu equal to mu naught mu R. But fortunately they are given here mu already, so you don't need to find mu R lah. So just put the values here only. A is given there, then we can find the R, which is the reluctance of the core. Okay, R. So you know that F also equal to flux multiplied reluctance in this circuit. In this circuit, right? The F or MMF here equal to HL equal to flux multiplied by reluctance. Okay, we know the reluctance already, R, this formula here. Okay, we can find the I also there. Okay, just put substitute all the values lah. Okay, the flux given in the equation 4 to the 10 to the power minus 4. R, just now you calculate this value. So Ni, you know, then you can find the current also. So this is how you solve the problem lah. There are many more alternative way to do this one. It's not one way only, but you need depend on the data that they give us. What data they give us, then you can play around lah. Okay, so this circuit basically just one materials only lah. One materials only. So that means that we can do this example. I go to this chapter 1, part 1. Okay, right here. Okay, that means if we plot the graph, I mean when the circuit, so the circuit just like simple circuit only lah. We have this one Ni, this current, in turn, okay, this a flux, right? So the circuit just like that lah. You know, you want to solve the problem, you just put like that only, simple circuit. Like that. So you got source here, Ni, we got flux, we got the S core. Okay, Simple. I mean, we have one, this is a series circuit only with one medium, which is core. So you can use Kirchhoff law here lah to solve the problem. Just now I mentioned to you. So Ni equal to what? HL equal to flux multiplied by S core. So this is a basic formula to solve the problem. Okay. Any question there? I think that not much question. Straightforward. We just want to find the current there. How much the current to set up this flux? So we can find using the two ways just now, two alternative way. Okay, the next example. Okay, we are given this one. With same magnetic material, but now we have the what they call it, this air gap, extra thing air gap. So in this circuit, that means you need to convert to equivalent circuit first. You see this structure, you know that you got source there. Okay, source come from here, and then you got one medium which represent the core, and the other medium represent the air gap. Like that. So this is your Ni. Okay, here source there, and this is your S core. This is your S air gap G. Okay, this again is a series circuit, and this is your flux coming there lah. Okay, SC or this one also you can put the MMF lah, MMFC. Here is MMF G. Jadi total MMF equal to MMC plus MMFG lah. So Ni equal to MMFC plus MMF G. Okay, this one can be HL multiplied by LC plus HG multiplied by LG. That's it. Because this is a series circuit, but we have two medium now, which is core medium and also the length of air gap, the air gap medium lah, right? So what they asked now just now, so in this example, they give us the flux density now, B. They provide us B 1 Tesla, okay? They ask us to find how much current required here, I. How much current to set up to be injected here, so that we can establish 1 Tesla flux density. And the second one is find the magnetic strength. Strength means H lah. In the air gap and also in the core. That means you need to find SC and H core. Okay, two. That's it. Now, in this example, we are given the magnetic mu arc, which is the permeability of core equal to 70,000. Right. And then we are also given the other data here, and if 500 turns, L core equal to 0.3 meter, LG, air gap length, 0.005 meter, and last one A, cross-section area equal to this one, 9 multiplied 10 to the minus negative 4. Okay, right. I think again we use the same concept, Kirchhoff law again, but we only have two parameters here, to LC and SG. This is a review only. It's not go our subject in detail, but just a review. Okay, then. Okay, again same thing here. So in this circuit, AG equal to A core, cross-section area here. The cross-section area of core equal to gap. That is because we assume a fringing effect equal to 0. We say that the system is very good, lossless, then everything okay. So area of A equal to area of G. Then we have this one lah. Okay, LG given just now 0.005 meter and LC given 0.3 meter. Remember, all unit in meter. Remember, all unit in meter. Don't if they give you centimeter or decimeter or other units, you must change to SI unit, which is meter. Okay, find the flux first. We are given the flux density 1 Tesla, so you can find the flux. Flux just B multiplied A. So all this formula you need to store lah in your mind. This is a basic formula like V equal to IR, right? Formula basic lah. Formula is basic. Power I square R. Okay. And so on lah. So similar for the magnetic circuit, flux to BA. It's like rule of thumb. You see the flux, you know, product BA or B flux divided by A. Ada one lah. B flux divided by A lah. Or flux B multiplied by A. Then you know the B already, 1 Tesla, you know the A. You can find the flux setup here, how much flux. Okay, then as I mentioned just now, we have two MMF here, MMF at core, MMF at air gap. So we have this one. If total MMF, this total equal to F core plus FG. Right? F core equal to flood. Okay, flood multiplied by RC plus flood multiplied by RG. This is formula basic lah, because the flood is similar. Remember, the flood is similar. The flood is similar here. The flood that flow here, because this series circuit is equal to flood at the air gap. So we assume there is no leakage flood appears here lah. So all flood set up by the line is equal to here. That means flood at core equal to flood at air gap. Okay, so we have this basic formula for the Kirchhoff law. Okay, this is series circuit. You for here already. I think this one is like nothing for you lah, because you know the series circuit very well, I think. Right? Okay. Now find the RG. What is RG? It's reluctance of gap. Okay. So our reluctance of gap is L over mu naught G. Mu naught G. Mu R, how much? Equal to 1. So don't worry about mu R, because this air gap, mu R equal to 1. So just put LG lah. And in your slide, they put L core. So make correction there. It should be LG. Length of gap divided by mu naught AG. So this is your length of air gap here. 0.005 meter divided by mu naught. Mu naught is this constant. And AG just now they are given here. Okay. Then you plug in, you got the RG, which is your resistance of the air gap. And then you can find FG. Flood multiplied by resistance, you got this one. This is your flood output MMF lah, stored at the air gap here. Okay, which is 397.9 ampere turn. Right, this for air gap. For the core, we know the core length already 0.3. Then you can find the core resistance. But in this core, you need to plug in the mu R. Because core has mu R. Air gap no mu R. Air gap mu R equal to 1. So don't get confused lah. So the given just now 70K. So 70K here. Multiplied by the mu naught constant 4 pi 10 to the power negative 7. Multiplied by AC given there. Then you can find the resistance or reluctance for the core. Then you can find the MMF core. And multiply by RC, you got this one. Okay. Now if you see these two unit, these two unit, for this circuit like this, the FG or MMF FG very big, 397, compared to the the core, which is 3.41 only. How many times you can divide lah. And that's why you can see that in the magnetic circuit, all the energy is stored in this air gap. Okay, and normally in our calculation later on, all the calculation in the core we just neglect it. So even though circuit like this one, you got this circuit like this one, but we just focus on air gap only. That means the circuit just like have Ni and a gap. That's it. So this circuit become just like that only. Just one medium, which is SG. If we say the system linear lah, later on we simplify things to solve the problem. So all the core will be removed. So energy only stored in the air gap. It's proven here lah. It's proven here. Okay, just now I show you. What is just value just now? Here, this 397 in the air gap. In the core, just 3.45. So very small compared to the air gap. That's why most of the energy stored in the air gap. Okay, that you need to notice that one. If we assume the system is linear, so we say that energy here in the core can be neglected. Later on, we can do that one. But for the time being, we just follow the lecture first. We know that how to calculate the air gap MMF and MMF at the core. Okay, but you can see the comparison between these two lah. Okay, that's how we find the value. Just now what they asked us. Okay, the current magnetic field. Then last one. Okay, I think done already. All done already. Okay, last one, find the current lah. You know the MMF at a gap already 3.1. 397. You know the core 3.41 equal to Ni. Total. You add these two. You got total MMF. Sorry, you got total MMF. So this total MMF divided by number of turn, you get the total current that need to be injected in the system lah, so that we can establish that amount of flood density. Alright, so remember, you just use Kirchhoff law only. Kirchhoff law is series Kirchhoff law, KVL, KVL, Kirchhoff voltage law. So which is for the series circuit, just F core plus Fg equal to F total. Right, that's it. Okay, clear? I think that should be okay lah for that example. Ada soalan nak tanya? Anything that you not very clear? So which one you want to use alternatively? You want to use this one or this first one? It up to the data given. If they give the data for Mio, then you can use formula for flux. Okay, you can use this formula, provided they give you the formula for Mio or Mio art there. Otherwise, you cannot use this formula. You have to think the other one, the other way around. Maybe you have to find the hash first. HL. You have to find HCLC plus HGLG. But if they give the data for Mio, then you can use this formula for flux. Right? Okay, so we find the current now. What about the flux intensity? Formula again lah. This is all formula. So just this formula, B to mu R mu H. B is mu H lah. H equal to B divided by mu. Okay, for the core, you need to divide by mu naught mu R. Okay, then you can find the core, which is, you can see the flux strength now. How much in the core? 11.3 only. In air gap, B divided mu naught only. Mu R equal to 1. How much? 7.96 times this power. How much? So you can see that the strength very, very high in the air gap. So compared to the core itself. So we can say that in terms of magnetic stored later on. So most of the energy stored in the magnetic state stored in the air gap. Okay, it's proven here lah. You can see this value, the strength. The strength means the intensity lah. So you can see that. This example gives us some idea lah what happened in the magnetic circuit. How much energy stored, how much the intensity, and so on. Right. Okay. Okay, next one. Okay, this one also simple lah, but they give you this like 3D diagram lah. Basically, this also have one medium only lah. You can do your own here. You can do your own. You just draw the source Ni, and you have one core only, which is L core. Okay, they are given everything there lah. They bagi you L core to 0.36, cross section area given, right? Number of turn given, current given. Okay, in this example, they give you the current already. Okay, they give the current, so they ask you to find the flood density and hash. This is other way around lah. Previous example, they give us flood and flood density, right? They ask us to find current. But this one, they give the current, they ask you to find this other parameter. I think I give you the answer here. So you can do your own lah. Some part you do your own, some part we do together later on. Depend on the material lah. I think the simplest one you can do your own lah. Right? You try this your own. It's like homework aja. You just like homework. First, the most important thing, change this one to this equivalent circuit first. So when you see the equivalent circuit, easy for you. Oh, this is just series circuit. Okay, use Kirchhoff law. That's it. And later on, when we go much more detail, you can see very complex system like relays and so on. So also same thing. Also same procedure you do. From the complex circuit, change to the equivalent circuit first. So then based on the equivalent circuit, you can solve easily. Right? So this slide just like how your homework lah. You do your own. Okay, we go to this example. This example, the figure represent the magnetic circuit of a relay. This is example of relay. What is relay? Relay is something like switch lah, switch. That means when you energize, it will attract this movable part. Becomes closed circuit, right? Like that lah. When we de-energize, so it will release this part, open circuit again. So on off like that lah. You energize, it close. De-energize, open. Depend on relay also. Sometimes relay has normally open, sometimes it's normally closed. Depend on relay lah. Some application they put without energization, it close like that, and you energize, they open. So depend on the relay. But in this example, we have when we energize, it will close. We will attract movable part, so it become closed circuit. And then when you just open circuit, this normally open circuit lah, right? So based on this circuit, we know that we have this core, okay, and we got two air gap there, air gap 1, air gap 2, with the length of Lg lah. Okay, and we apply current, then this is the number of turn, and then what is question there? Okay, they told us that the N equal to 500 turns, number of turns, and the mean core length, LC lah, this together, core length all this together, the total core length for the core equal to 360 mm. You see that mm now, millimeter. Then you need to change this to meter. When you do the calculation later on, you need to change to the meter, which becomes 0.36 meter. Okay. When the air gap length is 1.5 mm, Lg dah, for Lg 1.5 mm each, the flood density of 0.8 Tesla is required to actuate the relay. In order to actuate, mean attract lah, close the relay, we need to apply 0.8 Tesla. That's it. And then they give us data sheet. So for this one, so I click here lah. I click for cast iron 0.8 Tesla. What happened at 0.8 Tesla? So they give data sheet there. You click data sheet here, okay. Where is it? This is a data sheet for the relay just now. Okay, this is a B hash curve lah. This is a B versus hash curve. You need to find cast T. Where's cast T here? This is silicon 60 different B hash curve lah. Cast T, you got this one, and this is cast iron. Different material, different B hash curve. So our case, they ask cast T. So how much? Where the 0.8 Tesla here? You can see here, 0.8 Tesla somewhere here lah. Okay, you can find the hash intensity at that particular core. So you go to this one, you find here somewhere there. So this is about, based on the example here, they said 510 ampere and turn per meter. Right, so you need to be careful lah what kind of material they give you and how much the Tesla and so on lah. But in the example, they ask 0.8, and then that one give you the strength of 510. Okay, so we will give all this table later on lah. When we ask you, we give you this, we supply you this curve and so on. Don't worry much lah. Okay, so from BH curve at 0. Tesla, it produced magnetic strength of 510. Fine. Okay. Soalan pertama, find the current in the coil. How much current required in the coil to produce 0.8 Tesla? Okay. So you can do this one. This one example from PC Sena. Basically, this if you draw the thing, it consists of two medium there, Ni, and then you got LC and you got Lg. But Lg is 2 Lg. 2 Lg. Remember, Lg is 2 Lg because we have two component there, 2 L gap. I can just go to this present solution. All right. Okay, here. So this thing happen. You change this physical thing to this kind of circuit. So you got Ni, and this is your flux, S core, and you got 2 Sg. Why 2? Because you got 2 air gap. That means 2 multiplied Sg. This one, if Sg is similar lah, but if Sg is different, then you need to put Sg1, Sg2. You got two different reluctance. But it's same reluctance like that, the same length, then you can write 2 Sg. Okay? So that's how you draw the circuit lah. So based on this circuit, you can easily solve the problem lah. So just now we told that it required 0.8 Tesla. So that one give you strength of 510. Then you can find the MMF at core. MMF core is SCLC lah, because we don't know the flux yet. We are given the data for hash. That means you don't need to try to find the flux equation lah. You cannot find the flux equation. Because you know that MMF also equal to flux multiplied by SG. Since we don't know all SG punya component, so don't worry about that one. You just go to this formula only. Formula HCLC. So you know that SC 500, LC the length of core equal to 0.36. Then this is your MMF at the core, 184 ampere turn. Clear? Straight. Okay. Next, we go to the air gap. Air gap, we know just now we have two air gap there. Okay, so MMF at air gap equal to hash 2LG. Don't forget about the number 2 here. Otherwise, you got wrong answer lah. Okay, hash G equal to B over mu naught. Okay, hash G B over mu naught. We know that B at core equal to B at air gap because B formula B equal to flux divided by A, right? So A is equal. A core equal to AG. So don't worry. Flux is similar because this is series circuit. So B core equal to BG. Yes, directly. B is equal but hash is different. Remember, B is equal but hash is different. Hash is totally different just now. So hash core is not equal to hash G. Hash G very, very stronger compared to hash core. But in terms of flux density, same. Flux density at core equal to flux density at air gap. Okay. And then you know this is 0.8. Mu naught, you know how much the value is given. Okay, you got this 194. Again, in this example, the MMF at the air gap much higher than at the core. This one 1910, this one only 184. So you can see the difference. Okay, if you want to know the total MMF, you add these two because it's series circuit. Add these two, MMF at core plus MMF air gap. Then you got total lah. Total MMF in the circuit, and then you can find the current. Okay, so current equal to NI lah. Clear? So that's how we solve the problem here lah. Okay, we need a current of 4.19 to set up the flux of 0.8 Tesla. Okay. That is the first question. The second question, they ask you to find the permeability of core. What is permeability of core there? Okay. Compute the values of permeability and relative permeability of the core. Mu and mu r. Okay, mu and mu r. Okay, so we can solve the problem lah, simple je. So we know that again gonna formula, just formula. So we know that this permeability, you can see the BH curve there. Okay, so this the slope, right? The slope is permeability lah. The slope is permeability. So the slope is permeability. I mean mu equal to B over H. The slope, kecerunan tu, slope. You find the BH curve, so the slope or the equal to B over H. BC over HC lah. You can do this on the symbol lah. You can B or C whatever lah. But that one, so to make it easy, so core and core lah. Okay, jadi 0.8 divided by 510, you get this your permeability of core, and then you find the permeability of material, mu r, relative permeability, just divide like that lah. Okay, so mu core divided mu naught give you the mu r, relative permeability. Alright. Okay, last one. What they ask? If we remove the air gap, there is no air gap there. Okay. Or if air gap is zero air gap here, find the current to set up the same flux density. How much required current if there is no air gap there? With air gap, how much current just now? With air gap, we just now calculate is 4.9 M. 419 ampere required to set up 0.8 Tesla. Because we have air gap there. Air gap gives you higher current to set up the same flux. But without air gap, you can see that. So we can see that F equal to HCSC only, just one medium only. HCSC, there is no air gap medium there, so we can find lah. So H 500, L, we got 184 divided by, you can see that. We just require 0.368 only to set up 0.8 Tesla. That is different lah. That is one of the properties that we can understand in terms of relationship between current and flux density. Okay. So you see here, much smaller current is required to establish the same flux density in the magnetic circuit. So we know that one. And the properties of the magnetic materials lah, in terms of flux density and Tesla. And so, okay, I think that clear lah. So the most important thing from this physical circuit, change to the equivalent circuit first. This is very important thing. And then from the equivalent circuit, we can use Kirchhoff law and so on lah. Kirchhoff current law, Kirchhoff voltage law, depend on structure here lah. But this structure give you the Kirchhoff voltage law only, because this is a series structure. If you have parallel structure, sometimes some kind of relay they has parallel punya structure, selari parallel. Then you need to use Kirchhoff current law. Okay, so this law is basic lah for electrical engineer. I think everybody must know lah what is Kirchhoff current law, what is Kirchhoff voltage law. If you don't solve that problem, it's very hard for you lah. Alright, I think that should be okay. Okay, now we go to further. We know that from previous lecture just now, when we place the conductor carrying current, when we put this conductor carrying current, conductor must have current there into this magnetic flux. It experience force. Okay, these are the basic concept of the motor lah. When you study motor basically the current flow to the inductor, the conductor, then we expose to this flux, then it experience force. Force means it start to rotate lah. Kalau motor this start to rotate lah. The rotate is due to the interaction between flux line and current here. Right. I think that's very clear. So now we go much detail lah. This is a main flux, call it. This is a main flux or main field flux. This is a flux from the conductor carrying current. You know this one using the right hand rule lah. By using right hand rule, we can find the direction of flux due to this current. And this flux, you know that characteristic of main flux is move from north to south pole. Okay, that's a basic idea that we studied before. So if we put this current into this portion there is part there, then it will experience force. Force means it moving lah. Okay, moving. Okay. Now we put this kind of this current we put like that lah, like dot representation. The current dot mean the current is coming out from this screen. Okay, so you can use your right hand rule. You can hold your right hand now. Okay, and then the finger is show you the thumb is show toward you, then you can see the direction of a circle there lah. A circle is the flux produces anti-clockwise. Okay, so if you expose these two here now we're going to study what happens if you put this current conductor into this main flux there. Alright, so we put like that. So we bring this conductor to here. You can see there. So what happened there? On the left side, the flux help each other, add each other. I mean the stronger flux here because it help each other, same direction. On the right side, it oppose each other. That means the flux is weakened here. Oppose, we will weaken there, but it's stronger there. So what happened there? Then you can see this is a flux of the resultant flux that produced in this circuit. Very, very concentrated here and no flux there. So what happened now to the conductor? It will force, this flux will force conductor to move to the right side. Like that lah. So the conductor will move to the right side, toward right side. That is we call it force in the system lah. This phenomena or this idea is a basic thing happening in the motor. Whether it is AC motor or DC motor, this happen. We need to understand this one. That's one way to understand how the flux produce torque or force in the system. Okay, you can see here the flux line based on flux line we can spot, we can make assumption that because this flux is very strong, so if we force the conductor to move to the right side, that's one way. The second way, what you can do, okay, go back here. Okay, you use the left hand rule, hukum tangan kiri. There are two hand, right? You got two hand now. Left hand used for the motor. Okay, left hand used for the motor. That means you want to know the direction of motor. Left hand. Right hand used for the generator. You want to know the voltage induced in the generator. So use right hand rule. So right hand rule ni ada two job lah. First, you want to find the flux direction. The second one, you want to find the induced direction, induced voltage in the generator. Don't get confused these two hand. Okay. Okay. Now you because of the motor you need to use left hand rule. Okay. Now you hold your left hand rule. You got three finger there. You got the thumb, you got the middle finger, and you got the other finger lah, like that. So you just you know this one. So this is the current. Current is on toward yourself, right? The flux where flux go down north to south. Okay. Then you can see your finger, left hand finger is moving toward the right. Right? It move here. So same lah here. This one represented by the flux line. Then flux density. You can see you see this one, it move toward the right. If you don't want to plot this flux line, you just go using the left hand rule only. So left hand rule, by using tangan kiri, left hand rule, this is a flux, is your middle finger, go down, okay? And this is your current, middle finger, I forgot. The other one, you got three finger right there. So direction is, will move, this your thumb, left hand thumb, move to this way. So it proven now. Yeah? So don't forget, don't get confused. For the motor, use left hand rule. Left hand rule Fleming. Sometimes they call it left hand rule Fleming. For the generator, later on, you need to use right hand rule to determine the induced current or induced voltage. Okay. Okay, clear? I think that's clear lah. Just the theory, whenever we put conductor carrying current, it will experience force. That's that proven there. All right, now we move to what is electromagnetic induction? Okay, this very important things lah you need to know as an electrical engineer. So the first law state that I think an EMF can be induced, EMF, electromagnetic force, can be induced in a coil if magnetic flux through it's called exchange. So this phenomenon is known as electromagnetic induction. Okay, that's the first law. I put the law number one. Law number one means if the magnetic flux change, it will induce voltage at that particular coil. That means you can have voltage in the coil if the flux is changed with time lah. When time change, the flux change. Okay, then it produce voltage. So this is the first law of electromagnetics. Call it electromagnetic induction. The second law state that this is a Faraday law lah. Faraday's law, or you can say law number two. The induced voltage proportional to the rate of change or flux linkage of the magnetic flux. So E equal to N d flux per dt, or equal to d lambda per dt. This is a Faraday law basically. The higher the flux change, the faster the flux change, the bigger the voltage induced. Okay, like that lah. The bigger the flux linkage, the bigger the voltage induced. This represent the Faraday law, or I'll call it law number two. Okay, and negative stand for this is like polarity lah. This polarity, the voltage produced. The voltage produced in the particular coil always oppose the main flux that produces it. They always oppose. That's why they put negative sign lah. Okay, so this is a basic law for the transformer, inductors, and many type of electrical motor generators. So we will use this law later on. Okay, the first law and second law lah. The first law regarding the when the magnetic change, it produce voltage. Okay, and the second law state that the rate of change determine the voltage induced. The bigger the rate of change of flux or the flux linkage, the bigger the voltage or in the current induced. You got the voltage, you got the current lah, like that. But provided the circuit is closed. If the circuit is open, you just have voltage lah, no current. But if the circuit closed, you have got current. Okay. So the Faraday law basically describe two different phenomena. This Faraday law here lah. Two different phenomena. The first one we call it the motion EMF. Okay, motion EMF normally happen in the generator lah, like in the power station, right? In the power station, when you moving the rotor has conductor, right? So the rotor has conductor, or the rotor equal to you excite, it become magnetic. So when you move the magnetic, that means magnetic change with the time, it produce voltage. So that voltage, you call it the motional voltage lah. Motion voltage, because the voltage due to the movement of rotor. Rotor tu we energize lah first. We energize to become magnet or electromagnet. Then when it rotate, it will cut the stator conductor. Then it produce voltage, EMF lah. That voltage call it the motional voltage. The second one is a transformer. Transformer means there is no movement part, static. But how come it generate voltage in the secondary part? Because of the change of voltage. Because when dE per dt change, when d flux per dt change, it will produce voltage at the secondary winding and so on. That one we call it transformer EMF. Okay, transformer EMF does not involve any rotational part, static, diam saja, dia stationary. That's why we call it transformer EMF atau stationary EMF. But in the power station and so on, it's motional EMF. But both use the concept of Faraday law just now. Okay, the negative sign just now, I mentioned there. It comes from the fact that EMF induced in the coil act to oppose any change. That's why you put negative lah. I think that's oppose. Oppose. Try to opposite the one who produced it. That's it. Okay, Lenz law. Lenz law. What is Lenz law? Lenz law is a law to determine the polarity of the induced voltage. Polarity. Where is the plus? Where is the minus? Okay. We know that Faraday law is the law to, we know that when the chain of flux, it produces voltage, right? But we don't know exactly. We just put minus only lah, oppose. But for Lenz law, we know that we can determine the direction of induced voltage. Okay. Okay. This and okay, I give you the picture here lah, what to represent the Lenz law. Okay, the first picture there. So this is a bar magnet. This is a coil. Previously, there is no voltage here. Voltage is zero there. Nothing. Just a coil only. And the magnet is magnet lah. So now we move this magnet, north south pole ni, towards the coil. To the left lah. The speed with the speed V ni lah. You can see the direction of V ni. And when we move toward the left side. So what happened? That means the magnetic change there is moving. So what happened now? You know, when the magnetic movement of magnet happen, it will cut the rotor conductor. Based on Faraday law, it produces voltage. Okay, it produces voltage there. Now we have voltage there. When we have voltage, you got current. Okay, so this current set up the flux oppose the main flux there. That's why I put north pole there. So the current flows such that it produces north pole there and south pole here. That's meaning by Lenz law. Okay, so when we move this one toward the left, it produces voltage and it generates current because this closed part. So this current produce flux. We know that when we got current, we got flux. So this flux give us the direction like this, north and south pole. That's Lenz law. You know, that's one phenomenon. If we move away this magnetic bar toward the right now, again Lenz law state that, okay, when this move away, it produces voltage also there. It got voltage, got flux. The flux it become south pole there because it try to attract back the field there. It becomes south pole. That's Lenz, the definition of Lenz law. You got it? I mean, I hope you can understand. The setup current there, we produce flux to oppose. Oppose means when you put here, it become north pole lah. Oppose, melawan. Not attract, oppose. Oppose means they opposite to this main flux. And here, because you bring it far away, it becomes south pole. You want to attract back. That's it. That is Lenz law. You can read this statement here. You just go through and read this statement to understand what is Lenz law. But basically, Lenz law is like that lah. Okay, now we go to this one. We got a few minutes to go. Okay, this is our magnetic bar, north south pole, right? This is a fixed lah. This is a coil. This is a coil lah. So what happened now? So if we move this magnet bar toward this ring or solenoid there, okay, as you know just now, when the change of flux happen, and this is Faraday law, it produces voltage there, right? First Faraday law state that the voltage will induce in this coil, provided short circuit lah, the current must be closed loop lah. Kalau you open circuit, you cannot see the current lah. Okay, so what happen? The circuit must be closed loop. So when you move toward this one with north pole there, you can see the flux line there, flux line from main plug. Okay, and then you can see this your compass, or meter lah. It's a meter. You can see the direction of current. Say that it move toward the anti-clockwise. The current will flow like that. Okay. So what is the pole there? The pole. So you know when the current flow in the coil, it will set up their own flux. So this own flux will produce north pole there, because this, as we know that Lenz law state that the induced current will set up flux to oppose the main flux. Okay. So to oppose means that it produces the line like that, the yellow color, the dotted red color there. That means they come out there, they become north pole there for the solenoid. So solenoid become north pole there, south pole there. Okay, and the meter move, for example, anti-clockwise. Okay, so if we move this magnet bar, we track back this one, going to here, then what happened? The meter will move clockwise, and the you know that because of different direction of current, that means this become south pole. Understand? Move to the left, become north pole. Move the right, south pole. So that is meaning by the Lenz law. We can find the direction of flux or the current produced by using the Lenz law. Ada soalan? Anything that want to ask?